The Hidden Hindu, Book 1 of the Trilogy by Akshat Gupta, Chapter 7, Existence Exhibited. Everyone assembled in the same room and took their respective seats. Shahista sat on the seat next to Om. She looked around to make sure the guards were in the vicinity this time. For the sake of everyone's safety, this time everybody could sense the sensitivity of the situation. They could feel something and were apprehensive. Dr. Srivansan came close to Om, bent down in front of him and said, "What should we call you? Om or Bankim? Badarka maybe? Gershil is good, or do you prefer Vidor? Surprised yet? You have spilled a lot of things. Now either we get the rest of it or of it just the same way, or you can choose to reveal it all willingly, by force or by choice. Either way, we'll acquire whatever we desire. What do you say?" Dr. Srivansan had a sardonic smile. Om didn't speak, and his face conveyed that he had already given in. He appeared to be disturbed, like a thief who was just told where his $1 million treasure could be found. Dr. Srivansan straightened up, moved farther away, and instructed Dr. Shahista to explain the new process to Om. Shahista complied. "Om, we're going to hook you up to a lie detector and project your thoughts as visuals on the screen by matching their wavelength and converting them into images." Shahista spoke as humbly as she could, like a mother explaining to her child who's about to be vaccinated. "Which means that," Om said steadily, and was interrupted by Dr. Butcher. "Which means you can't lie, because your thoughts will be displayed as clearly as you have lived them." "I'm sure you don't have an objection, do you?" Dr. Srivansan spoke arrogantly. "Do I have a choice?" Om said. "None." Dr. Butcher set up, Dr. Srivansan said. "Yes, sir," Dr. Butcher replied. Om glanced toward Shahista, who was already looking at him sympathetically. Dr. Srivansan left the laboratory of his office and dialed Virabhadra's number on his way. "Virabhadra, report," he commanded. At the other end, Virabhadra said, "Sir, our people have those lockers secure. They will reach in some time." Dr. Srivansan asked for whatever was in the locker to be brought to him as soon as they arrived. Virabhadra responded, "Consider it retained, sir," while going through the location and address of the locker. Dr. Srivansan asked, "How much time do you need?" Virabhadra took a moment to calculate the travel time and informed Dr. Srivansan that he would have it on his desk by early morning. Having said this, Virabhadra left. Srivansan continued talking to Dr. Buttra and the rest of the team members. Outside Dr. Srivansan's office, Virabhadra made some calls and arrangements in order to complete his tasks in given time. Virabhadra spoke into the phone. "How long will it take to reach me?" After hearing the reply, Virabhadra said, "Do not leave my traces behind. My men will give you a sealed envelope. After securing it, deliver it to the address on the envelope to the person who gives you this code. 5MW580YLF, written as a serial number on a 100 rupee note." Virabhadra disconnected the call and dialed another number. "You will get the parcel tonight at the same address. Secure it. Your code is 5MW580YLF. Get the package delivered safely to the chopper pilot at the earliest. Your payments will be transferred to your accounts, and $1,000 and $100 rupee and 100 rupee note will be delivered to you before time." Back in the laboratory, LSD and Dr. Batra carried out the placement of all the wires and kept talking to each other while doing so. Abhilash, meanwhile, helped Shahista in preparing a list of questions to ask. "You must start from Shashin, one of his own names as he had revealed," Abhilash suggested. "Why Shashin specifically? Why not any other name?" Shahista was perplexed. "Because that is, in my view, the oldest of all, and happens to be one end of this tangled thread. The other end is Om Shahistri, or you could begin by asking all he knows about the Satya Yuga." "I'm a bit confused. Who is Shashin?" Shahista said in an apologetic yet demanding tone. "All right. During the period of Ramayana, which is Treta Yuga, the second after Satra Yuga, in the war between Lord Ram and Yavana, Lakshman, Lord Ram's younger brother, was struck by a deadly arrow shot by Indrajit, Ravana's son. It is said that only one herb had the ability to save Lakshman's life, and Sanjeevani Bhuti at Mount Dagari in the Himalayas. The Vandani, who suggested the Shavani, but the Shushan, you must have seen the image of Lord Hanuman flying with the mountain in his left hand if he is talking to Vidor. It is the Mahabharata, that is the Dwapara Yuga, which that means Shushan must be known as Shushan from the legendary Ramananya, who, according to the stories, saved the life of Lakshman by suggesting the Shavanji herb to Lord Hanuman, for which Lord Hanuman lifted the whole mountain, Abhilash explained. So you want to say that in order to sort out the connections between all the names, you need to begin from Shushan, which is the Treta Yuga, said Shishta. Shahishta cleared the clouds of doubt from her head. I did what you asked me to, and I've stumbled onto something, LSD said. What? Abhilash was curious. Vidor is said to be Dhritarashtra's brother, the most knowledgeable and wise person of his era. And Sanjay was Dhritarashtra's advisor, who also worked as his eyes to the world. His father was Gavalgon. So I was right. Abhilash beamed with pride, and LSD added to his pride by confessing, looks like you were. Exactly. You see, it sounds crazy, but I'm serious. There is surely some association between the man and the man from Treta Yuga, and it's odd that all our answers lie within one person, Om Shestri. So we must start from there. After hooking up Om to the lie detector, Dr. Batra engrossed himself in the computer. Seeing this, Dr. Shrahishtra joined them, leaving Abhilash, and Dr. Shrivanshan entered the laboratory. Dr. Batra called out to him, Sir, we are ready. Proceed then, replied Dr. Shrivanshan with a cold glaze. Shrahishtra requested, Om, please cooperate. I assure you, you won't to be harmed. Om nodded half-heartedly, but Dr. Batra and LSD did the needful. They connected Om with various wires and cables. Within a few minutes, Om found himself tied extensively. Cords ran from his head, chest, arms, and feet and diverged into two opposite directions. The ones that originated from his head were further connected to a computer and another machine, which in turn was secured in a projector screen. All others ran straight to the lie detector. Dr. Batra and LSD were done with their part of the preparation. Shrahishtra had readied her questions and Abhilash's help. With Abhilash's help, everyone was set to start. All the lights were switched off. Darkness swept in. The only light came in from the computer screens. LSD pressed some keys on her system and finally hit enter. As soon as she did that, a sheet of paper was scratched by some pins sketching a graph. Some images appeared on the screen for a split second and went off. Om had opened his eyes. The screen didn't show any images. Then Om's eyes were open. As he blinked, the brightness in the room increased. The screen projected the time of the day, the places, the attire of the people. They were being projected. Seasons, cultures, everything flew past all of them without making any sense. The guards in the room were alert and loaded their guns in preparation for any unwanted activity. The faces in the room were also being displayed in a jumbled form of Om's thoughts, kept on skipping rapidly. Shahishtra realized that Om's thoughts needed to be controlled. For that, she had to give Om a feeling of calmness and safety. To do that, Shahishtra held Om's shoulder and said in a soothing voice, Om, it's okay. Calm down. You are not alone. Open your eyes and look at me. Take deep breaths. Let your body go loose. Relax. De-stress yourself. As Shahishtra spoke, the screen changed gradually and things became clear. The images stood still, and while before moving out of the queue, Dr. Shrivanshan ordered the guards to be alert. As his voice registered on Om's eardrums, Dr. Shrivanshan could see himself on the screen. Following that, the landscape of a village flowed in. There were greenery everywhere. Dr. Shrivanshan's gaze deepened and he grew serious. Thereafter came the image of a government school, some children sitting on old, worn-out wooden benches, and a few Englishmen in the uniform of the East India Company. The image seemed prior to India's independence. This image was a jolt to Dr. Shrivanshan, who was shaken to the core. Everyone except Shahisha had clearly noticed that change in expression and the uncomfortable body language. Shahisha said, are you ready to do this? And as she said that, the screen turned blank. Came the answer from Shahisha. The lie detector beeped, which meant wasn't really ready. All the eyes turned toward the direction of the beep. Too. He then looked at Shahisha, who had a slight trace of a smile on her face. Shahisha spoke maturely. It's okay, I understand, but we have to start this now. When you open your eyes, we lose the vigil, so you have to keep them closed while speaking, she explained. Silently closed her eyes. Shahisha looked forward. Dr. Srivansan first, and then towards Dr. Batra. Both nodded slowly. She took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and for a moment and started the procedure. Who is Shashin? She asked her first question. Was silent for a while, but he knew his memories would say it all, so he spoke. It was me. As he said that, the picture of a village and a forest flashed on the screen. Tribal people could be seen, donned in a few clean clothes, barefoot, carrying bows and arrows. Numerous trees and flowers could be seen. It seemed to be a rich and fertile land, with mountains, amazing species of plants and flowers, and dense forests and high falls. What is this place? Shahisha asked. A village in southern India, replied Om. Who were you there? I was Vada there. People approached me for various treatments. I knew of every root, bark, leaf, and flower that ever grew on the mountains. I knew of each disease and its cure. Where exactly is this village? Prodded Shahisha. The name is Sachindram. It now falls under the Kanyakumari district in Tamil Nadu. Whose lives did you save? I saved many lives. One of them was Lakshman. I also served many people and monkeys during the war. You mean the Lakshman from the Ramayana? Asked Shahisha to confirm. Yes. Started thinking, and as he did that, a man materialized on the screen. Long beard, saffron clothes, and lungi, an Indian outfit that was worn by ancient men. Wooden footwear and a turban on the head. His surroundings were essentially plants and herbs, with a few unusual utensils and lotions in front of him and herbs diluted in water. The man looked exactly like Shahisha. The same face, the same man he was today. The man was sitting near an unconscious body. Beside him, there was another man, holding the unconscious man's hand while tears rolled down his cheeks. There were monkey-faced humans who seemed to be concerned as well. It was evident that the characters on the screen were none other than Shashin, Lord Ram, Lakshman, and Hanuman. How is this possible? How are you alive even today? Asked Shahisha as she continued her shock in order to be more straightforward. I haven't aged since then. I feel tired at times, but without any food or rest, I get energized automatically. I get hurt, I fall ill, but right before death can engulf me, I start recovering again. I don't die. Disclosed Om. The silence in the room became uncomfortable, and the atmosphere turned somber. Shahisha could hardly believe any of it, but still went ahead and asked, how did you look at the time? All of a sudden, Dr. Butcher stood up from his seat and screamed, This is bullshit. No, this is unacceptable. As he thundered in rage, he started walking towards the door. Om opened his eyes, and the room went dark. One of the guards switched on the light. Dr. Srivansan and Shahisha rushed to stop Dr. Batra and blocked his way. Dr. Batra echoed, Sir, we are dealing with a mental patient here. I can't take all this anymore. He is building up fantasies here. Why is the lie detector not beeping then? Dr. Srivansan debated. Because his pulse is normal. When someone tells a lie, their blood pressure fluctuates and their heartbeat shoots up. Our machine notices such changes and notifies us accordingly, Dr. Batra answered reasonably. And these images we are seeing, challenged Dr. Srivansan. The images we are seeing are not his memories, but those created by his imagination, which he thinks are real. He is obsessed with his stories and thoughts, and his obsession has led him to believe that he was actually a part of all of that, he says. He reads his own fantasies like he has lived them, Dr. Batra reasoned. Imaginations are blurred, Batra. They can never be as clear as what we are witnessing right now. Only real incidents and people can be clearly traced in our thoughts. Shrivansan replied, frustrated with Dr. Buttra's interruption. Right? And this man thinks very strongly that all of this is real, so he never perceives anything like fiction. He believes he was present then and he lived it all. Dr. Buttra grew even more adamant about his view of the situation. Sir, it is vividly described in all the Hindu mythological books, like the Ramayana, and he has studied those books so deeply he thinks he actually belongs to them. He never realized that he is lying. He is diseased, sir. It's an abnormality. Cases like this are numerous across the globe, Dr. Buttra asserted. The session needs to end here, Dr. Shrivansan said, checking his watch. Let us continue tomorrow. For now, assemble for dinner, he said as he walked away. Within no time, the interrogation room was empty. The security team took Om to a secret place. He was handcuffed and surrounded by guards. Later, everybody started discussing the day. When they were done with dinner, Dr. Buttra suddenly asked, Abhilash and Premal, tell us your views and thoughts about this case. Has anyone here heard of Ashwathama and Parashwarma? Abhilash was the one to reply. Yes, replied the innocent Premal. Only heard of them, yes, Dr. Buttra informed. Never heard of them, Shahishra muttered. Googled them now, got an idea, the tech-savvy LSD replied. Okay, the word Parashu in the name signifies an axe. Parashurama literally translates to Ram with an axe. He was the sixth avatar of Lord Vishnu, the fifth son of Renuka, and the sage Jamadagni. He is one of the seven Chiranjeevis, a person who lives forever and immortal in Hinduism. Parashwarma is mostly known for ridding the world of Kshatriyas, the clan of kings and warriors. 21 times after the mighty king Kartavyar killed his father, the birthplace of Bhargav Parashmara is contested, although the history of his lineage is considered to be emerging in the Hayana kingdom located in modern-day Maheshwar near the city of Indore in Madhya Pradesh. He received an axe after undertaking terrible penance to please Lord Shiva, who in turn taught him martial arts. Pleased with his extreme devotion, intense desire, and perpetual meditation, Lord Shiva rewarded Sri Bharga Ram, his original name, with divine weapons, which included the unconquerable and indestructible axe, Parishu, and so he was named Parashurama. Lord Shiva then ordered Parashurama to liberate the earth from felons, demons, and those blind with pride. Parashurama lived long enough to see the subsequent incarnation of Vishnu and as Rama and Krishna. Parishma possessed the Vijaha Dhanush, a bow of Lord Shiva given by the king of deities, Lord Indra. In the Ramayana, Parashurama had given the bow to the father of Princess Sita, King Janak, and her Shwayamor, the process of selecting the right mate and an eligible match for a princess. As a test of strength, suitors were asked to lift the string from the mystic weapon. None of them were successful, except Lord Ram. But as Lord Ram struggled to string the bow, it broke into two halves and produced a tremendous sound that reached Parashurama's ears while he meditated atop Mahendra Mountains. Infuriated, Parashurama came to comfort King Ram, who he realized was also an incarnation of Lord Vishnu.